We must learn the truth of our plight and condition, because if our understandings are flawed, then all liberating remedies and strategies that stem from those misunderstandings will also be flawed. Black people are not suffering from a slave syndrome myth. The truth is that Black people are within an abusive relationship with a narcissistic white society. Here's how narcissistic abusers gets their victims to seek their approval rather than resenting and hating them. After repeatedly brutalizing the victim, the abuser never acknowledges any of his wrongdoing. He instead minimizes the abuse and tells the victim that abuse wasn't that bad and to get over it. He then constantly inundates the victim with demoralizing and disapproving narratives about themselves. This practice is continued until the victim begins to doubt their own position. And instead of appropriately resenting and hating the abuser, the victim will try to win the approval of the abuser. The victim will try hard to win the abuser's approval. It's a type of trauma bonding that gives the narcissistic abuser psychological power over their victims. And it gets a response from the victim that's better than the victim hating them. This is what the narcissistic white society has done to Black people. After brutalizing Black people, they never acknowledge any of their horrible wrongdoings. They instead insist that the abuse of Black people wasn't that bad and tell Black people to just get over it. They then constantly inundates Black people with Black racially demoralizing and white disapproving propaganda. This practice is continued until the black population begins to doubt our own position, and then instead of appropriately resenting the white society, many Black people try to win the approval of the white society. Many Black people will go out of their ways to try to show white people that we're not all bad. This is the psychological warfare tactic that the white society deploys against Black people. We African Americans are within an abusive relationship with a narcissistic white America. And just like within most abusive relationships, the white abusers have convinced many of the Black victims to believe that the abuse that we endure were our own fault. So instead of resenting them, we seek the white society's approval. It's a psychological mind hack. The minds of targeted populations are easy to manipulate if they're unaware of what's being done to them. Once minds have been confused, manipulation becomes simple. The mind will even ignore common sense and rationality falls away, even overlooking hypocrisy and deception. I'm trying to tell you the truth, and you have to elevate your mind from biblical fairy tales and silly slave syndrome. They are working on our minds, constantly manipulating our minds. This is the truth. One love and peace.